Welcome to the Drone Network.
The Anet A8. Okay guys, couple of brothers have picked this up in the family now, so it's time for me to step up and give you guys a couple of pointers on this, because you probably have been watching videos on YouTube and they have been very scary, and that is what damn videos intend to make you be, very scary. Okay, this thing is not that bad. Okay, let's figure out one thing. All right, don't print nothing and leave your house. Okay, always be around it when it's printing. Not always be around it, but be within the house. That way you can walk back and forth and check on it and or whatnot and stuff like that. I've printed stuff and walked over and flown and come back and everything was fine. Other than that, I've never had an issue. Like, it's right on point. So when you first get it out the box, you're going to want to set up the frame. The frame is all this acrylic here. Okay, now listen, some of you guys that come from a different background, you're going to want to go, oh, okay, well, I want to put Loctite and all on the screws. Don't worry about doing that. Okay, this thing is okay, it takes a little bit of your time. So every probably twice a month I go through and I just give all my screws a turn and make sure everything's tight. Because if you put Loctite on these, what happens is the Loctite will eat the acrylic and it will cause the seams to split apart. You don't want to do that. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and set up your frame. There's a video. It will come with a disc in there, or not a disc but a little card telling you where to go and check out the video, and there's a real good video on doing it. That's why I have not done it. I feel like it stays right on point. You pause as you go through, but everything is, it got me to do it, let's just say that. Okay, and that, you guys know I'm not the smartest one in the bunch here, but anyway, so you're going to put all your pieces together. It's intimidating at first, but just go ahead and put all your frame together. That's your first step. Then and as you put your frame together, you'll be putting on, you know, your bed stuff and all. Just like I said, pay attention to the video. It's real informative and it does help you out. They make a big stink when it comes to like setting up the extruder and your little micro switches and all. Just, I put mine right where they originally go and I've never had an issue with it. Mods. What mods, once you get it up and going, will you need? I think right away, once you get it printing, you'll need a set of these. Okay, and don't mind mine. Mine's a little dirty. I got to get it cleaned. You'll need these. So so whatever you mount it to, make it rigid to that, if you get what I'm saying. Like, this table moves a little bit, but the printer is part of the table now, because I got here, right there, and right there. So they're holding the printer to the table sturdy. Nothing moves around. That was one of the major things. Then you have on your extruder, you'll notice you got a little white piece that comes off and it barely comes to here. Print you a cooling ring. This is a big plus on the Anet A8. Okay, and another tip, you're going to want to super glue it into here. Don't panic. And then every now and again the heat will get to it and this will slope down a little bit, but all you have to do is pretty much just let a little heat get onto it and just pry it back up. Every now and again it'll go down. You'll see it tilt down a little bit. You could print that out of ABS. That would cure that problem, but I got ABS. I'm just too lazy to change the settings and all. Print you a knob for putting your filament in. It's a lot better on your finger than that little Allen head that's there. That thing will kill your finger. And when you tighten screws down, your preventive maintenance is what I call it, you want to give them all a turn, you know. And this is your #1 problem too. Never push down on this or whatever. And when you're doing the filament, I put my hand here and then do this, what I do, and that way when I'm pushing down, I just compress my fingers. I don't push down on the extruder, because that will throw out your Z's. Okay. On the bed part here, you'll see yours has a white JST connector that's as wide as this piece here that just snaps in there. Okay, that has one prong utilizing it for your positive and your negative that goes to your bed. So what I did was I put on the little connector here, and I'd pull it off of there, but there's no need to. You see what kind of connector it is? That's just a spade connector. And then I utilize both pins because you have 2 negatives, 2 positives, and then the 2 in the middle are for your signal wires that run up to your extruder. Okay, so just do what I did right here. It's very simple fix, and I've never had a problem with nothing getting hot here, nothing burning or anything. Now you can run your wires. Mine kind of work just like there. This little thing catches, but there's many of things that you could do that. You could even print something that the wire would run through. It works for me right now. But that's your major mod that I would take care of first, because the bed does get hot and it will burn the plug if you don't pay attention. Okay. Other than that, put tape on your bed. Just your regular old painter's tape works great. Go through the instructions. Like I said, set everything up. This is what the circuit board and all looks like back here. It's all self-explanatory. It all works. Okay. When you get it set up, get your set switches and all that. It tells you exactly how to do all that. Okay. When you line this thing up, your number one thing I think that helps me, that makes me print the way I do, is I measure from here to here once everything goes home, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's put this over there. I just let my wire dangle like this, and I got this into it, and I've never had an issue with it. It doesn't get weak or nothing. Like, they stay solid. I want to print the chain thing. I started it, but I just never finished it. I think that's just a lot of weight added to it, honestly, and looks. So you'd press here, go down, quick settings, press here, and this button always initiates your enter button. You think the middle would, but it's this button. So then click down to home all. Sometimes the click takes a little bit. And then let me remove the ruler, and you click it. See, that'll go there, the bed will go back, and that'll drop down till it hits the dip switch here. That's its home position. You'll see what all it does. Okay, it's ready. So at that point is when I take the ruler and I measure from here to here, and just make sure both sides are exact. Okay, so basically measure this side and then make sure it's right on point with this side, down to the money. All right, then what you do, see, right now the stepper motors are locked. You cannot move them when they're locked. They're like concrete. You could force them, but let's go. Okay, it just reset itself. Let's go back into what I showed you. Quick settings, down, over. Let's keep going down. And this is how you preheat the PLA for when you change filament also. That's another step. And that's where I think a lot of people go wrong. And I'll give you a step on that also. But you go all the way down here to disable stepper. Now when I press it, it let go the stepper motors, you see? Now I can move everything. So that's how you move your bed back and forth for when you are leveling the bed. You can move everything at this point. You want to be real safe and easy with moving it. And what I use to level my bed is a piece of, this is a magazine from the UK, because the UK paper is right on the money with being the exact thickness. So that works perfect. You're going to do it just like you would do points. If you ever did a car, worked on a car or worked on something with points, you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to take these here, and when you're at your home point, you're just going to take it over, slide the paper in between your extruder, and adjust these up and down to get this. And another mod is to print you a set of these. This is much better. Okay, but beware, you can't run one on the back side because it goes through this part of the frame and the knob will not fit. Okay, this one will. I have literally filed that down and mounted it back here at the frame. and it will go through, but I haven't done it to that side, so I just run 3 of them and it runs fine. When you get done with a print, let your print cool. Do not try to lift a hot print. You will bend the print all up for number 1, and number 2, when the print cools, it's a lot easier to remove. And when it cools, some of them will even pop themselves off when it cools off. And I'm not saying you have to wait till it gets cold like it is right now. You could pop it off with a knife, and that's exactly what I use, just a normal knife, like so. And say this is the print, I'll just go under the print and just get up under it like that. It's not that easy with the print, don't get me wrong. It's a little bit harder, and you'll see as you go, okay? Now, for the filament, what do we use as far as filament? This is your filament numbers, is what you want to use, okay? This is 3D Solutech printer filament. This is good stuff right here, really good stuff. A little expensive, but good stuff. But here are your numbers that you want to make sure you get correct. You want to make sure it is PLA for number 1, and you want to make sure it is 1.75, okay? And 1 kg is about 2.2 pounds of filament. That's normal, your normal average roll. So you want to make sure that the printer that the stand they give you is okay. You can print your collar for it. I have a paper towel in here to give some drag because it's kind of loose, and it's still kind of loose, but my bearings are jacked up in there, so I got to redo that. And as you see, I have many of rolls that I've done, used. It goes to show you that if you take care of it, it works. Okay, the Anet A8 is a really nice printer. I would suggest you replace this fan right away. Get a ball bearing fan. That fan is trash right out of the box. And one of these fans. Okay, replace this fan, and this machine runs quiet. Other than that, you'll have problem with your fan. You can run yours straight out the box and you use your fan to its last abilities like I did, and then replace it. And other than that, I'm trying to think what else I could tell you that would put you guys and help you out. Another thing is print you one of these for your filament. That's another thing. Okay, I could do a video. Actually, I have a video of filament replacement. I think I show exactly how to do it in an extruder. So what you want to do when you go into that extruder is basically, you don't want to go straight down. Think of my fingers being the filament, okay? You want to have your filament kind of like this. So when you go down, you're kind of going around this part of the extruder that holds your filament, that kind of goes back and holds tight, so then it drags it through as it's printing. So if you try to go straight down with your filament, you'll just go at the bottom and it'll come through all the little cracks. But if you tilt it like at an angle like this and then go in, you'll see. And you always have to preheat PLA before you do that, because that gets your extruder up to temperature and everything. And then what I do is I push down on this while I still have whatever's in there, and I push down real gently without applying pressure to your extruder. Remember, you don't want to bear down on this. You will have to recalibrate every time, which is no problem. If you want to recalibrate every time, please do so, because it will make it much better for you. Okay, so bear down on this, and I push down so the filament comes out the extruder down here, and then as I'm holding down this, I give a quick pull out, and I've never had, knock on wood, filament stuck in my extruder. That is my original extruder, 0.4 I think it is, whatever the nozzle is on it, really tiny small, and I've never had to replace it. That's the stock one. Everything pretty much is stock but the 2 fans on this job. The power supply, they recommend putting it on a switch. Well, my idea was I hooked it to a power supply. There's your switch. You can mod it and put it on a bigger power supply and and believe what they say. I don't believe what they say. Okay, it gets a little warm. It's a power supply, right? That's what it does. It gets warm. Okay, so you can put a switch on it. That's no problem. I mean, if that's what you want to do, most people like that. I like mine on it. It's a switch right back here. Just the old power strip with the switch. That's what all I have hooked to it is this. And well, my light that I live stream with. But other than that, that's nothing drawn off of it. The power supply gets a little warm. I'll give you one hint. Most people might think like I think, blow a fan on and it'll keep that power supply cool. No, you don't want to do that, because if you blow air onto this while it needs to work in heat. As you can see, I have these up on it. Okay? And then this goes here. And then that's all it takes. And in the winter months, I'll drape a piece of plastic over it, not compromising my PLA being drugged into it, if you know what I'm saying. So, but yeah, you have to get like, put something around it or have it in a real warm room in the winter time. You'll see, because the coldness will affect you. If you're a smoker, you want to have it away from smoke. Basically that's it. Pay attention to where, like I said, the instructions, and if you have any problems, feel free to give me a call, help you out. But other than that, it's pretty much set. And another thing is, here's where your SD card goes in right here. Okay, now there's a reset switch on that board right in there. Don't mess with that. Mine's already worn out from me doing that. Go into your settings like so. Go down. Okay, go to SD card, hit over, go into it, go to unmount card. Okay, you don't have to do this when you take it out. You can just reach back around and pop it out. But when you go back into it, you're going to have to do this procedure. Unmount card, then go down to mount card, and then I'll show you print file, and everything's in there. Yep. And you see my hand on there. I'm not bearing down, I'm just resting my hand on there. You don't want to bear your hand down on it. So let's print a little whoop frame, abducted alien frame. Okay. So other than that, Anthony, Mr. Winky Head, has bought one of these. JDS Canuck, I think that's his name. You guys know him. I say JDS, but it's JD's Canuck. Our brother, he got one. Thomas, it's worth it, man. Thomas Gertis helps me out a lot with printing, and I really appreciate you for that, Thomas. You're awesome, brother. Yes, he does. He helps me out really a lot with it. So, but yeah, guys. So that's the Anet A8. Feel free to buy it. It's a really cheap printer. It's roughly around the $158 mark. Catch it down to 130 at times. When it comes down roughly 130 and I catch it, I'm going to probably pick up another one. And you can run, this is PLA, you can run ABS through this. You can run, I'm sorry, there's another one right before PLA I'm not familiarized with, but you can run TPU, which makes the soft mounts for your drones if you're into drones. If you're into just making things, fixing things around your house, this is 100% awesome to get into. I just took some LEDs and stuck down the side here, and then took a power supply, tied into it, and plugged it in, and it works. It lights it up, puts a nice light down there. I saw that mod on YouTube. Went to my Lowe's, picked it up, $couple, I think it was. Wasn't much. So yeah, other than that, like I said, mount it to something that doesn't move. You see my table's pretty rigid, unless I wiggle it real hard. And then after so many prints, just make sure everything's, send everything home, and then make sure everything's lined back up. And other than that, you'll be good to go. Level your bed. You can put an auto leveler on there if you want. It's up to you, totally how you want to function it. I use Cura slicing program. Look up Cura, and then you can look up basic default settings for this. They tell you in your paperwork, you'll get your basic default settings, and have at it, man. Have fun. Have fun printing, have fun being a maker. That's what it's really about, so there you have it, the Anet A8 3D printer. I purchased mine from gearbest.com. I paid $158 for it, and it's the best $158 that I've probably ever spent on something, purchasing something like this. I was a little intimidated in the beginning, but it all worked out for me. I actually put this together in record time, not to toot my own horn, but I was working with a group that done 3D printing, and they said I'd done it in a record time. So for being noob into 3D printing, and I'm totally a noob into 3D printing. one for Thingiverse, I'd be lost printing. But I got Fusion 360 now, and I am learning it. So thank you again, Thomas Gertis. MD95 TSI signing out. And here it goes, starting to print. You guys want to just see that? As you can see, it line itself up. That's normal. Don't sweat. If you see, oh, well, it's not printing. It takes a second. Especially on initial startup. First print it's ever done today. And that's like a brim anyway. A raft, or what they call it. It's a brim. Because I think I got a brim on this one. Yep. So okay guys, I hope this helps you guys out, and you see how, like I said, the wires work back there. Just ride along. And every now and again, like I said, on your preventive maintenance, tighten all your screws, push all your connectors on your board, make sure everything's nice and tight. Take your time wiring it up. That's all. This belt here, they make a big stink about it. I've never had a problem with it. People have to mod it and do all kind of stuff. I've never done nothing with it. I've done it just how the makers of the Anet A8 suggested you to do. I never upgraded none of the bearings in here like they all suggest, or it'll stop running, it won't print. You guys know what I do with my printer. All stock. Everything is stock but these two fans. Besides the things I printed. Don't mess with this. You see this gap here? Let that be. Let them have their free ride. Let them, you know, leave them alone. Every now and again, I'll wipe these down with a paper towel and these, and then just rub a little bit of oil across there. That's it, slightly. Nothing you want to pound oil into. And a little bit down on the threads. But other than that, hey guys, have fun with it. If you have any questions, I may have your answer. You see, it's a quad frame that it's doing. Pretty big quad frame. It's an alien. So, alright guys. Again, thank you for watching. MD95 TSI and the Drone Network. And don't forget to go stop over to Captain Cook's channel, the Drone Network. Thank you guys for watching.